I wore my Carolina Hurricane sweatshirt today because I feel like you got to emphasize your support after a game like last night. This is the, if you're wearing your gear today, this is the I'm not a bandwagoner day, right? I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox here with us. As always, what the heck is going on with the Canes?
How much time you got?
We got 3 hours, starting about a minute ago. What the heck? However much time. We got some other things we'd like to talk about, and we likely will talk about. But if you have the answer, I'll give you all the time you need to explain it, because I think we all want the answers. I gave them so much credit on Monday, and they hung me out to dry last night. Friday to Saturday, they went from playing very, very poorly against the Florida Panthers to kicking themselves in the tail, right? Lighting a fire under their own you-know-what. And then Saturday, they showed up against Tampa and played a very good game. And I was like, that's what veteran teams do, right? Martinook, according to Walt Ruff, team reporter, the friend of the show, he reported that Martinook in the postgame said, listen, the Florida Panthers were the team that eliminated us from the playoffs. We need to play like they are the team that eliminated us from the playoffs. And we didn't do that. So they took out their anger on Tampa the next night. And I loved it. That's what I think you get out of a veteran squad. I gave them credit on Monday for doing that. And then they took 3 days off and came out and laid a clunker. That's not what veteran squads do. Veteran squads take advantage of one of 5 times all year, non-All-Star break edition. You get 3 consecutive days off, and they come out firing. The Canes should have blown the roof off of PNC last night. Almost fully healthy, right? All of their skaters healthy. They're still dealing with Freddie Anderson's absence, but almost fully healthy. Coming off a big win at home. You had 3 days off. And it was dead. Not saying the atmosphere, saying the execution was dead. So much so that your captain, Jordan Staal, did not mince words in the postgame. Here's Staal.
As a group, this doesn't look like we've completely bought into how we want to do things, and it's gonna look like that. It's gonna be a 500 club that kind of wins some games, lose some games, and just kind of ho-hum, and then it's starting to get a little frustrating, and we're gonna need to have everyone. I gotta be better. Our line's gotta be better. We gotta contribute from everyone, and it's gotta start soon.
It just doesn't look like we've completely bought in. Now, I was just talking with Adam Gold, who you heard right before this, during our little changeover in the studio, and he brought up that the way the Canes ask their players to play, their system is hard. Right?
It's very demanding as a skater.
And it would take buy-in to execute, right? You have to be all in. You're not going to be able to have success within their system unless, you're emptying the tank every single night you're out there. My question would be, why in the world would they not be bought in? The system has proven to work with most of the guys on the team. They've seen, when you take over a program that's not playing well, I do think buy-in can be difficult, right? You need to have success to prove that your system works, right? When a new coach takes over and they get that first big win, what do they always say in the post-game press conference? This just shows our players that if you listen to us, if you do what we're asking you to do, sky's the limit, right? If you do what we're asking them to do, they can have success like this. That's the first big win. And then the next big win, it becomes a little bit more bought in and a little bit more bought in. The Canes have been successful. They've done the hard part. They took, meaning Brind-Amour and this brain trust, took a franchise that was down in the dumps, and over 5 years, they have the proof. They've had the big wins. And by the way, Jordan Staal, I know everybody loves you, and you've earned that love. You're the captain. Feels like everybody hasn't bought in. Well, sell them. Get them to buy in. That's part of being the leader, right? And maybe that's what he was doing in the media, right? I talk about coaching through the media when coaches say things to the media that they want the players to hear. Maybe that's a little captaining through the media. He said some things that he wanted everybody to hear, but that's on you as much as it's on anybody if the team isn't bought in. Get them bought in. Here's Rod Brind-Amour, the head coach, on if changes are coming soon.
No, because we know exactly what's going on. It's frustrating, but it's got to stop. And that's going to be on me here pretty soon to start shaking things up if we continue to do that, because we're too good to be inconsistent. That's our calling card.
Too good to be inconsistent. I agree. Now here's the rock and a hard place. Here's the quandary I'm dealing with, and I think many fans are also. I don't want to worry. I wish I wasn't worried. Because you are the Canes, and you have a history, and Brind-Amour has a history of figuring it out and righting the ship. And many of the players on the team have a history of figuring it out and righting the ship. But also to a certain point, you can't help how you feel, right? I'm watching the game last night, and my wife's asking me questions or whatever, and I mean, it's hard not to answer in a way where it's like, yeah, they just aren't playing as well as I was expecting them to. Well, why is that? Heck of a question, right? Most of this season, you've been able to say, well, Svetch is out. Oh, Pesci's out, right? Aho's out. All of these, and then, well, now it's like, no, they're all there. Well, the goalie's out. Well, is the goalie playing bad? No, actually, Kochekov's playing pretty well. I don't think you can lean on that one.
Yeah.
I was telling, this is the best analogy I could come up with for how I'm feeling. When you have a super trustworthy babysitter, right? Like somebody with experience, they've maybe raised their own kids. I don't know. They like the position A, draft pick number 1 in the babysitter draft, and they aren't picking up the phone, and you've called like 4 or 5 times. You want to trust that things are okay, and if anything really bad was happening, you'd hear about it, and the really trustworthy babysitter would be okay. But you're gonna be worried until they answer your call and say, "Oh, sorry, my phone was on silent. It was in the kitchen. We were playing, whatever, dragons and castle defending in the living room." It's like, okay, all right, thank you. Well, I was just calling to check in. See ya. Click. Now you're smooth. I need the Canes to give me that. I need them to win 4 games straight and go, no, it's good. We were just, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, not the board game. We were make-believe in the other room.
I was building a pillow fort.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, pillow forts, there's no reception in pillow forts. Like, we need that. Every time it feels like we're about to get it, and I may even jump the gun and go, all right, they're back. The veteran team, right? Everything's good. Every time we're about to get it, they're like, nope. Right? Nope. Something is making me, I don't want to be worried, but something about watching them is making me worried. Right? And I want to trust them. I want to say, hey, Jordan Staal is going to get him bought in. And I want to say, Aho and Svetch are going to figure it out. And I want to say this defense is going to wake up and start being as stingy as they've been the last 2 years. And I want to say all of that. But my gut reaction is I'm not 100% positive. One more from Rod Brind-Amour, one more clip. Here he is talking about sticking to the plan.
Well, it's not hammering home details. That's the thing. We all know it. It's just the mental toughness to stick to those details. That's where we're kind of deviating a little. And again, trying to do it, working hard. Everybody's trying to make plays when there's 3 people on you, and instead of just maybe there's a simpler play or whatever. Anyway, like I said, it wasn't terrible. That game could have went our way very easily, but even had that happened, I'd probably say the same things right here.
Could have gone their way. By the way, with it being a national television broadcast, it's always interesting getting someone like Gretzky's opinion on the game. Between the second and third period, Gretzky goes, Philly, they could have 4 or 5 goals at this point. And then he paused and went, well, Carolina could have probably 4 of their own also. There were missed opportunities on both sides. So it's hard to say, like, oh, that one could have gone our way. It's like, yeah, but it could have been 5-1 too. Like, if we're playing the coulda, woulda, shoulda game, both sides have it.